Well, another year has gone by. Can you believe it? Here we are, quickly approaching the end of 2025 and about to start 2026. What process do you have to be able to look at the end of your year? I know a lot of people go into planning mode for 2026, goal setting, 90-day sleigh, let's get the plan going, January 1st, woohoo! And a lot of people, because of the holidays, they tend to slow down in January, kind of coast through January. Or I'm sorry, through December. My apologies. They coast through December, and we're going to hit the ground running in January. What is your process? Can I tell you mine? What I like to do is I like to reflect on the year, on 2025. And I'm in the process of doing that reflection right now, of looking at what worked and what didn't, of where my money came from, of where the client leads came from, of the biggest lessons I learned about myself personally and professionally. Which networking groups are working? And what are they working for? What decisions will I make different in 2026? Do I need to offload projects? Do I need to onboard projects? Right? What am I going to do different? Now, the reason that this is helpful is because my friend Teresa Romaine talks about this a lot in her theory of I am now here. I had an experience at one point of climbing up this big hill. We were in the desert in California. I was in a large group coaching program. It was to be a silent process program. We were told we didn't need to bring much, a phone and identification. And when we got there and got off the bus, we were given the instructions. Here you are at the bottom of this bluff mountain thing. You are to hike to the top. The path is defined. When you get to the top, you are going to have an experience. And after you've had an experience, you are to come back down. Okay. Okay. Well, at that point in my life and in my world, I was a bit of what you like to call codependent, people pleaser, gotta take care of everyone else. And so I had a backpack that day. They told me phone and your ID. I had a backpack because we were going to be hiking and I needed water. But what if my friends forgot water? I better put extra water in my backpack. And what if it started to rain in the desert of California? And I had trash bags in my, like, I had a poncho and then I packed extra trash bags because other people could like wear the trash bags. And I had my passport and I like all kinds of things in this backpack because that's just how I lived my life at that point. P.S. This was many, many years ago. And so I started up the hill. And it was a very clearly defined, I mean, it was a path. There were cars that went up and down, up and down. And as they would go up and down, they'd say, "Can we do anything to support you?" And they said, "No." And I'd say, "No, no, no, no." And and they had given us a couple of other things like on the walk. We were going to be drawn to one specific thing. There was a specific thing that was in alignment with us. And we were going to notice it and we were going to see it. And if it was something that we could pick up and gather, carry with us, please do that. And if it was something that, right, you couldn't carry with you, take a picture of it, hold a picture in your mind's eye. because that was part of your experience also. And your job is to go from where you are, get to the top, have an experience at the top, and come back down. Okay. There were people that took off running like like it was a race. Even though I was in fitness and I was a fitness coach at the time, like that wasn't my stamina speed. We were already at some elevation. When I'm doing personal growth stuff, tend to cry a lot. If you've not seen Crying Laura, it's interesting. And one of the things that I wanted for myself on that walk was to not just accomplish it, but to savor it, to revel in it, and to rest when I needed to rest. And ease. I really wanted ease while I was carrying a backpack that had 15 pounds of gear for other people in it. Like, and, and at one point I realized that. I was like, this is stupid, and I'm done. So I took off the backpack and I left it on the side of the road. And then I kept walking. And then I was like, my passport's in there. That was stupid. So as a support car came by, they were like, "Is there anything we can do to support you?" And I was like, "There's a backpack back there, uh, that I took off and left. Um, could you just pick it up? It it's got my stuff in it." And they said, "Yeah," and they did. And I would stop and I would look at this amazing vista. Like over by where we were at, you could see the city and you could see, and people would pass me and I'd have feelings about people passing me, right? I was a fitness coach. Can't let people, but it's fine because I was going to savor it. I was going to learn from it. I was going to have the fullest experience possible. And I was going to notice where I was each moment of that trip. Woof. And apparently it worked because here comes Crying Laura. This many years later, and we're talking 16 years later at least. Maybe like 14 years later. I still am getting emotional about that walk that I took. And it changed my world. Ask me about it sometime. I'll tell you about the experience, and I'll tell you about the special object I found on the way up. But for the purposes of this conversation, you just went through 2025 and you're nearing the pinnacle. Maybe you're even at the plateau. You're in coast mode in December. Cool. Did you stop and look back? Did you enjoy your business in 2025? What did you learn? How did you grow? What worked, what didn't? How will you spend your money differently? How will you make more money if that is your goal in 2026? How will you affect the lives of your clients differently? How will you approach business? Because I'll tell you later, if we go back to that walk, those people that took off, like people said, okay, go have your experience. And they went out of the gate and they started running. Um, when we processed that walk later on that day, they were like, I had to be first. And I ran until I was puking. I ran like I didn't enjoy any of it. Oh, it was really pretty. Like you should have cried and enjoyed more. But that was their lesson. But if you look back at 2025, did you run the race of your business thinking it was a race? Oh, sweet child, it's not a race. It's just, it's a really fulfilling job that's supposed to support your real life. How do we do that better in 2026? So I invite you, take this moment as you're at the top to process, to ask yourself some questions, and then to consider how the answers to those questions might change how you do 2026. If you would like some help and support, if you would like an environment where you can really get clear and I can ask some of my super juicy questions. It's one of the things I'm most known for is my curious questions and like, ooh, there's something ooh, that's interesting. There's something there. That is what this month's marketing lab is going to be about. It is prepping your 2026 marketing plan, processing 2025 before we plan for 2026. I would love to have you in the marketing lab. It's 90 minutes. It's the second Thursday of the month, always noon Central Time. And the reason it's 90 minutes is because this isn't like a lecture kind of environment. This is a workshop where we do the work. This is a lab. We're going to do some experimentation. We're going to see what shows up. I have a plan, but where it goes from there just depends on who shows up. It is one of the funnest parts of my business right now, and I would love for you to join me. Join me in the next marketing lab. Let's stop and look and enjoy what 2025 was. Pull the lessons from 2025 and then make some choices of what stays and what goes in 2026. Maybe I'll even tell you the rest of that story of what happened in the experience that we got to have at the top of that mountain. Something pretty big left that day for me. So, what big things might you leave behind in our next marketing lab? Well, I don't know, but you have to be there to find out. All right, talk to you soon.